In today's video, we're going to talk about the importance of spending time on your own and how this can look within a psychedelic journey and in your everyday life. Tune in. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name's Fola, and here on Deep Mind Square, we talk all things bridging mental wellness and spirituality for nurses. I'm just sitting here really feeling the energy of the past week or two or months, maybe, probably been a few months. I know for myself, the sense of the being alone, not really engaging too much socially, which is very not like me. But since I moved really into my own space, I've been really feeling the importance and preciousness of having that time to just be with myself. And it's kind of funny because even this past year, I had a pretty intensive medicine gathering that I was a part of. And one of the big learnings I had during that session was the fact that myself as this Scorpio sun individual, I have a tendency to really kind of isolate and just be in my own space. And at the moment in which I had this realization with myself covered in a blanket, completely hiding myself from the group of people in the space, I just felt like I needed to go within and retreat. And there was some guilt and shame of that's not what you're supposed to do, Fola. There's a group of people. You should be, engaging with them and so forth. And yet at the same time, it just felt so good to me to just completely shut the world out and do my own process. And it had me thinking about scorpions in general. Scorpions hide in caves and they kind of just secretly move around. It's why can I not also do those things? But I'd had a conversation just recently with some people around this journey, and it was really neat, someone pointing out the fact that looks like I was doing my own sort of journeying within the journey, if that makes sense, my own retreat within myself. And that really resonated for me, just being where I am and some of the things that I've gone through, and also seeing where people are at right now in the world. I'm hearing this time and time again from folks who find that they're really just retreating into themselves, not socializing. And the one thing I'll point out with this, because obviously there's this important part around balancing that sense of socializing and connection as humans, and also being just kind of in your own space. But the one thing to note is that really being aware, especially if you have tendencies for anxiety, mental health concerns, depression, that you aren't completely isolating and then rolling yourself into some of those kind of old, maybe unhealthy patterns. And also those experiences of severe depression or, whatever that might be that you've gone through in your past. But it doesn't mean that just by isolating that sort of experience is going to happen again. I think it's important to maintain some close contacts in terms of people that you really trust and can see maybe, or at least have a phone call with every once in a while, and allow yourself to move through whatever might be coming up. Because ultimately what I've learned for myself is when I'm going into that sort of isolation period or this hibernation, which oftentimes kind of cycles with the seasons, it's wintertime, going within, we're coming really close now to spring where there's going to be this opening and blossoming of the plants and life. And I find it's this point where really going inside so that we can sit with those uncomfortable feelings, emotions, thoughts, maybe some of our old traumas and wounds, and we can allow ourselves to hopefully do that inner work, that healing work, so that then all that stuff clears and we can completely just open again when it comes to the season change. Just know that it's okay to be in the sense of loneliness, to feel like it's just you. Trust that you are not actually alone. It's funny too, this other day I was thinking, oh, I'm so just here and I probably should connect with more people, and yet I also feel like it's okay that I'm just by myself, and does that make me all asocial and I'm this horrible person who thinks they're self-righteous or whatever? And it came back to my mind. I just pulled out my daughter's some of these pictures and things that she'd had with her school. They sent them home with, so the backpack's full. And one of the papers said on it with hearts, you are not alone. And I thought that was really interesting that was written there. I don't really know the context. I haven't had a chance to ask her about it. But when I was feeling the sense of just disconnect and doing my morning sort of ritual meditation, I then instantly was thrown to that piece of paper and just like, no, like you're not alone, Fola. Sometimes it feels like it when there's no physical like people or situations around you, but really we are so deeply connected. We are connected to each other like collectively as humans. We are connected to all of nature and the world around us and the world experiences, especially those that are happening right now, whether we like it or know about it or not. And we are also connected to the divine, and this was this reminder that we might not be able to see and really sense everything and that connection, but if we can just have faith that it's there and trust and ask even for those connections with God or spirit or whatever it is that you connect with your higher self, that those connections can deepen. Because when it's deepening that space, then all the other pieces really start to open up. And it's like, that's, I think, that spring, that blossoming, and us stepping more into our life path. And that's such a beautiful thing. So just know that you're not alone. If it's so much so that it's just like too heavy to bear with, then please reach out to someone that you trust. Like this is something, I think there's like 24/7 numbers out there. You can talk to a helpline, especially if there's really dark feelings that you want to maybe end your life. Because I think when it comes down to it, we just want these pains to stop. And being alone can be very painful. So find ways, put yourself out of your comfort zone so that you can connect with others when you really feel like you need that, and seek out new community. I think this is a huge part. We are disconnecting from our old relationships so that we can start to bridge into like new ones. I know I'm seeing this in my life, and there's times where I'm like, oh, I guess a lot of these friendships are sort of falling away. And I also at the same time feel a bit of like, oh, like that's okay. It's sad. And we had like our life experiences or those years or whatever it's been together, but now I get to create something new. And are we willing to allow ourselves that and give ourselves permission to do that? And can we start to really just open up to whatever new relationships and connections the universe has in store for us? But first, building that relationship with ourselves, with the divine, with God, whatever, again, you identify as the infinite spirit that seems to somehow make sure that things are just working in a very magical way. So feel free to share this video out with anyone you think might need to hear this message today. And feel free to join this community here on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, the notification bell so that you're updated on future video releases. And I look forward to seeing you all in another video. Take care.